morning, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to our subcommittee meeting for transportation, DMV subcommittee. We had to wait for get enough folks here for quorum. I know it's early, but please do your best to try to be here by 7:30. If not, let us know. A couple housekeeping matters. Certainly want to recognize our clerk, Robert Esplund, and our committee attorney, Emma Buck. She's going to be helping us guide our way through the process here through the docket. So let's get started. First bill is HB 33. Delegate Campbell.
It's my understanding that that bill is going to be rolled into another bill.
Okay.
That's almost identical.
Thank you. Anybody want to speak to his bill or for or against before we take action?
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Smith, Virginia Farm Bureau. No, we've been working with both of the patrons, and we support the rolling in.
Okay. Thank you very much. This committee acts by motion.
We have a motion to incorporate, correct?
So you have a motion to incorporate?
Yes.
Second. Motion is second. Into 179. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those not? Okay. Moving on. Next item on the agenda is HB 40. Delegate Scott. It's on his way. Should we just come back to that one?
Tell the chairman. Tell the chairman.
Okay, moving on to HB 179. Delegate Bloxham.
On HB 40,
Yeah, I'm going to shift it back. HB 179. Delegate Bloxham. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is a substitute on 179
Okay.
that I'd like to offer.
Chairman, move substitute.
Motion is second on substitute. All those in favor of the substitute say aye.
Aye.
All those not? Okay.
What this bill does is it creates a farm tag. There's been a problem brewing over the last couple of years that people are using just handmade placards on their cars and using putting the words, farm use on it, and been riding without really any insurance or anything. So what we did is last year after we left a meeting, I pretty much told Farm Bureau they needed to fix this one way or another. And this is the culmination of Farm Bureau working with DMV, working with the different groups on a solution. What it does is create a tag that says it'll be registered with a number. It'll be an actual license plate, and it's a $15. It's a permanent tag, so they only have to pay it once, and it will be registered to a vehicle. So the tag stays with that vehicle until the vehicle's taken out of service, similar to a permanent trailer tag. And that is basically the gist of the bill. I think we have a consensus that this is probably the best way to handle this problem.
Thank you. Anybody want any questions for the patron? Anybody want to speak for or against?
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Smith, Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. And as I said earlier, we do support this action. We're trying to preserve the exemptions that's been allowed for farmers to haul product to and from the market and the other ones in there. We do recognize that there have some people out there that do not qualify the exemptions, just put them on thinking that they can get away from registering their vehicle. So we do support this action and appreciate the work of the patrons.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Virginia Loggers Association. I'm Ron Jenkins, and we support the bill.
Thank you. Any other questions? Excuse me, you got somebody online. John Jones, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm John Jones, representing the Virginia Sheriff's Association, and we support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a motion to report by Delegate Anderson.
Second.
Second. Chairman. With substitute?
As amended, yeah, with substitute.
As amended. Second.
Second.
Okay, go to the voter. Cast your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate McGuire.
Delegates McGuire has voted. The measure passes. Voted 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Moving on. Let's see, HB 259 is next on the docket. Delegate Wyatt, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I have, first of all, an amendment in the nature of substitute for House Bill 259.
Okay,
Second.
motion is second to adopt. All those in favor of adopting the is it just an amendment with a substitute?
Yes, an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Motion amendment with the nature of substitute. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not? Okay. It's accepted moving forward.
Mr. Chairman and committee members, good morning. House Bill 259 comes to us by the Virginia, at the request of Virginia auto dealers. This is a bipartisan bill. The bill on the Senate side is carried by Senator Jerry McPike, and what this bill does, current law requires automobile manufacturers to pay Virginia dealers for warranty and recall work at an amount less than retail parts and labor. This has been on the books for over 25 years, and dealers continue to be underpaid for warranty work and recall work. When a customer has a vehicle with an issue and requires repair, under a warranty or recall work, the customer pays nothing, of course. The dealer fixes the problem and is reimbursed by the manufacturer. Manufacturers have manipulated the amounts paid to warranty work and recall work for years. Manufacturers do not pay the same hourly rate when warranty work is done and recall work is done as opposed to retail customers. Manufacturers also artificially reduce the amount of time they claim required for warranty work to be done by the technicians at the dealerships. Manufacturers have control over prices and alter them to reduce the warranty repair for those costs. They have conceded and gave a lot of compromise. The first change to the bill in reference to the amendment was there to clarify the section applies to maintenance under plans and programs. The change makes it clear burden of proof on the reasonableness of the retail amounts determined under the statute. The amendment was requested by the manufacturers and make this a rebutable presumption. The change, like I said, just fully also reimburses for rental vehicles. Right now, the manufacturers will reimburse only a set dollar amount when you take your car into a dealership for repair at a much lower rate, and dealers have been left covering substantial charges for customer rental vehicles. The original language was drafted that would have covered the cost of all substitute transportation, including dealer loaner cars. Also in this bill, over-the-air updates. Now, with technology, the remote changes to software for updates on over-the-air updates when dealers are called upon to assist customers who have trouble with an update. This section does not require manufacturers to always include the dealer. Rather, it says when a customer brings a vehicle in a dealership, the dealer must pay for their time while helping customers. As you know, there are a lot of updates, even remote start. Toyota right now is moving on their RAV4 that you have to pay for the remote start, which in years past it was a convenience and was given, so like $8 a month. And we'll continue to see the manufacturers move to heated seats. If you like heated seats over the wintertime, you could pay for that option. So this bill also requires that manufacturers provide a written disclosure of potential buyers outlining each vehicle function that must be updated and changed in the future, and whether there is ongoing charge for these functions. The manufacturers had concerns about how to properly disclose their various models, makes, and their add-ons, that the disclosure may direct the customer to websites and listing the information. As manufacturers head towards having more and more custom type vehicle software and subscription services, the consumer should know what is being included on the vehicle at the point of sale. So I want to thank the committee. We do have folks, 3 individuals that have Zoomed online that would like to make comments as well. Lisa Borches, which is the president of Carter Myers Automotive Group. She's a 4th-generation auto dealer and the vice chair of the board of directors for Virginia Auto Dealers. Also, Emily Beck. Her family runs a dealership in Front Royal in Winchester, and she is the current chair of the board of directors for Virginia Auto Dealers. And also William Farrell, who owns Berglund Auto Group in Roanoke and Lynchburg areas. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be glad to take any questions the committee desires.
Thank you. And if we could do that right now, if anybody on the subcommittee wants to ask him a question, otherwise I'll dive into some of the people who want to speak to it. Okay. Thank you. Let's move forward with the folks that want to speak in favor. So let's start with my neighbor, Emily Beck. Emily?
Good morning. Good morning. As the chair of the VADA, I thought I'd share a couple comments that were sent to me or sent to our members, to the legislators asking for the support of this bill. One wrote, warranty and labor rates are often half of normal pay, and diagnostic time spent is not paid. So if a technician spends an entire day or a week tearing a car apart to find an electrical issue and the vehicle's under warranty, the technician just provided a week's worth of free labor. Now tell me another industry where this is common practice. Please change this and help cultivate a fair industry for both technicians and customers. And another dealer wrote, I strongly feel the manufacturer should pay at least the amount of time a consumer would pay. It is unfair for them to pay a discounted rate and for the technician to absorb the loss. Fair compensation for warranty work has been a long-running issue, and no one bill is going to result in all dealers receiving compensation to which they are entitled under the statute. Dealers will still have to fight tooth and nail for their rights. But this bill will strengthen the Virginia Code's language so that dealers can more readily pursue their right to fair compensation. So on behalf of Virginia's new car dealers, I ask you to support House Bill 259. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to try to get that broadband squared away up there in Winchester sooner or later. Moving on to Mrs. Borches, if you have kind of the same sentiments, if you can keep your comments limited to less than 2 minutes, it'd be appreciated. We do have a docket here that I want to make sure we get through. Thank you.
I will be very brief. House Bill 259 directly impacts all of our members in a significant way. I'm president of Carter Myers Automotive. We have 17 franchises across Virginia and over 1,000 employees at 20 locations. It's critical to the consumers who rely on dealers to repair their vehicles and to our employees to ensure those repairs are done successfully. Fair compensation for the work of our technicians, as Emily just shared, to repair customer vehicles under warranty or recall is critical to their livelihoods. And a really important point I wanted to make is it's hard enough right now to retain good technicians, and undercutting their compensation for these warranty repairs for the manufacturer's financial benefit is unfair and will hurt the customers and the consumers of Virginia. I rely on you as legislators to support your local dealerships, our employees, and the constituents that we serve by ensuring the protections of Virginia franchise law so that we can continue to serve Virginia customers just like my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather have for the last 3 generations. Please support HB 259. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Mr. Farrell. Good morning. You from Roanoke?
From Roanoke, yes, sir.
Outstanding.
Mr. Chair, thank you for giving me just a few minutes this morning. We're a dealer group representing 27 franchises in the Roanoke-Lynchburg area. In addition, my family's had dealerships outside the state as well. We have roughly 500 employees in 10 locations. We cannot fight every battle with our manufacturer, but we dealers rely on the General Assembly to enact franchise laws that give us the tools to resist the worst examples of overreach by the manufacturer and make them treat us fairly. The bill you're considering today does just that, create some fairness, and dealers can rely on to ensure and continue to run our businesses and serve our customers. Please support House Bill 259. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Got one final on the.
No, that
excuse me, that's the 4. Okay. Now moving on to the folks that want to speak against the matter. Do we have anybody from that side, manufacturer side? Good morning, Mr. Helm.
Mr. Chairman, members of the subcommittee, Fred Helm on behalf of the Alliance of Automotive Innovation. We're not opposed to the bill. I just wanted to make a comment about, I just wanted to thank Mr. Hall and his team. We had some meetings on these issues in the fall and, before this meeting to work out a number of important provisions in this bill. These matters are complex and, there is a lot of, history and it's not easy, but they worked with us to get some provisions in this bill that make it workable on our end. So we wanted to thank he and his team for that.
Thank you. Mr. Surratt, speak. Good morning. Okay.
I have a comment.
Mr. McGuire.
Mr. Chair, this is a question for all the Virginia auto dealers that are online or in the audience. This is my 5th session in the General Assembly, and I've heard about these warranty laws every year. So my question to anyone around that can hear, how long have we been dealing with this issue?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Don Hall with the Virginia Auto Dealers Association. I do appreciate the question. Interesting, I have with me a guide that I've carried with me this last year that I want to share with you real quickly. In 1972, I was in high school. Some of you weren't probably even around in 72. Some of you were older than that, than in high school. But in 1972, this body, the House of Delegates and the General Assembly, passed a bill dealing with schedule of compensation to be paid to dealers for warranty work and service, and the schedule of compensation to be paid to dealers for their work. 50 years ago, we've been dealing with this issue for 50 years, my 35 years with the auto dealers here in Virginia. It has never been resolved, and every year, every other year, we have to come back and deal with many in this body. So thank you for your time and your attention, and recognize 50 years ago, you passed a bill on this very subject, 50 years ago. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Committee?
Move to report.
Second.
We have a motion to report with a substitute. We have a second by Delegate McGuire. Okay. Please vote on the voting board. Vote report 7-0. Did you want to say that? Or did you? Thank you. Moving on. HB 316. Delegate Wyatt.
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, committee members, HB 316. I do have a line amendment. 2 line amendments.
We have 2 line amendments. Have a motion?
Motion to adopt the amendment.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt the amendments. The second. All those in favor of adopting the amendments, say aye. 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 Those not? Okay, please move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill comes at the request of Virginia independent auto dealers, and they seek for a solution to updating, codifying regulations pertaining to independent dealer operator recertification programs and replace the current 6-hour online program every 3 years with a 4-hour instructor-led class every 2 years for recertification. These changes will ensure that actual individuals required that are being recertified are actually receiving this critical training and education. Recertification in the past has been online, only a process with multiple choice questions in the quiz. At the end, it can be retaken until answered correctly. There were no safeguards in place. The proposal replaces the current online recertification program. The data provided by the Motor Vehicle Data Board provided insight on numerous violations relating to advertising, field inspections, and associated fines from 2016 to 2021. These violations have been growing, especially in the relation to on-site inspections conducted by the dealer board. There's a great concern over the alarming large number of print-on-demand temporary tags that become apparent during the COVID-19. Working with their Motor Vehicle Dealer Board, the Virginia Independent Automobile Dealers Association has proposed a solution to work with these. So hopefully, by requiring folks to come in person to take a class, they will be better ready to operate their dealership. So with that, the two amendments that were proposed are to remove any dealership with 50 licensed persons or greater, and also to remove any franchise motor vehicle from this requirement. So with that, I'd take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Delegate. Any questions for Delegate Wyatt? Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak to this matter? What's the
Move to report as amended.
motion report is amended? Second by Delegate McGuire. Please vote up on your voting tab, please. These are with amendments, correct?
Yes.
Motion passes, reported 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, HB 506, Delegate Mullins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, before I begin, I have a couple of handouts, if I might share with you.
Please.
Ms. Buck, can I approach? Should be 9 of them.
He has to get back to the side, so if you can see that next.
Okay. He's here now. Delegate Mullins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, House Bill 506 seeks to be able to move us at the, and particularly the Department of Motor Vehicles, closer to a wireless world. We are quickly becoming paperless in many aspects of our lives. As many of you probably already have with either a Samsung or Apple device, you can actually carry many of your legal documents on your phone. I happen to do that with 3 credit cards, my COVID vaccination card, and most importantly, my Lowe's rewards card. All of those have various levels of security to them. Some, I would imagine there's not a lot of security to my Lowe's rewards card because, you know, it's mostly for 2% off. But some of those are real substantive documents, including my credit cards, and it has a lot of personal information. So all of these modern devices have a secured and locked facility within them. I say facility because I come from criminal law, not from digital backgrounds. But they do have a chip in them that is only for secure access to digital documents. Because of that, there's a new evolution that we've seen in this digital world that allows for fully digital driver's licenses. These have now been approved by the TSA and allow individuals to be able to access airports, secure facilities, military bases, and the like when the Department of Motor Vehicles has authorized it. This bill, 506, would move us quicker in that direction. There is a line amendment that I would ask of Ms. Buck.
We have an amendment.
It's a delayed enactment of 1 year.
We have an amendment on the floor. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All those not? Okay.
With the delayed enactment, there should not be a fiscal impact because this is something that the Department of Motor Vehicles can do as part of their normal course of upgrading their systems and moving along towards, as I was saying, a more digital world. The security of this has already been established. This bill turns this, when someone has placed a written request, the DMV can facilitate that. As you may or may not be aware, Virginia, while it is not the first, would be, I believe, the 11th state to allow access for this sort of device and has already been approved by the TSA. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move to pass by for the day.
We have a motion to pass this bill by for the day.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor of passing this bill by for the day, say aye. Aye. Those not? So we have 3 noes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses. Bill gets passed by for the day. Thank you. Yes, sir. If you put your mic on. Go ahead. Delegate Bagby.
No, I pushed the request to speak. I'm sorry.
I'm not that high tech, so if you could just,
Yell at you?
yeah, that'd be better.
Okay, I got you covered from now on. No problem yelling at you. Why was that bill bad for the day?
Delegate Anderson.
We want to take another look at it and look at it at next meeting.
What are we actually looking at? What part of it?
We're going to look at it and review it at the next meeting.
No, what part of it? Like,
The entire bill.
is there an issue with a part of the bill so we can all look at it?
Delegate, I hope if you had an issue with the bill, you would look at it as well. We want some more time on our end.
Delegate Bagby, thank you.
Mr. Chairman. I think we're setting a bad precedent.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman,
Delegate Bagby. Delegate Austin.
I would answer the delegate that we're working with DMV to gather more information on this bill. We had an agency meeting. We talked with DMV. We're not certain of exactly what they're doing, how they're planning to implement. So we'll readdress the bill at the proper time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Delegate Bagby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Mons. Going back up to HB 40, Delegate Scott's bill, so we can get back on track here. Delegate Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much for an opportunity to speak to my bill. Very simple bill. The issue that was presented to me by a widow of a disabled veteran. And when she tried to get the tag transferred over to her name, DMV did not allow her to do that. Upon further discussion with folks with DMV and even with our legislative services staff, a lot of DMVs across the Commonwealth do actually transfer those tags to the widow or widower. So all this is doing is codifying something that's already being done in the majority of DMVs, and just to make it so that everybody's kind of on the same page. Not sure if she had a newer clerk or an agent at one of these local offices, but we just want to make sure that things are just being done the same across the board.
Thank you. Have any questions for the patron? Thank you. Anybody else wants to speak to this matter? Against?
Motion to report.
Second.
We have a motion report and a second. Please go to your voter tab. Report 6-0.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, 8-0.
Okay, got it.
Okay, moving on. HB 540, Delegate Rome. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, to the members of the subcommittee. I come to you this morning to present HB 540, an agency bill from the Department of Motor Vehicles to allow the DMV to approve driver's license extensions for active duty service members as well as their spouses and dependents for up to 6 years instead of 3 years. The purpose of this bill is to ensure that those in service to the country have an extended grace period for keeping their driver's license documentation up to date on serving or on deployment. For good cause shown, the DMV may extend driver's licenses up to 2 years from the date of expiration rather than 1 year. I'll also note that Linda Ford from DMV is here to answer any questions, so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for the patron? Ms. Ford, do you want to make comment? Excuse me, Delegate McGuire, question for the patron?
Sure. How did we come up with 6 years?
Oh, sure. Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee, I would tell the delegate in this case that basically you have a lot of deployments that are going for 5 years plus, and so this is meant to accommodate them. And at the same time, I'll be happy to defer to Ms. Ford if there's any additional question on that specific issue.
Ms. Ford, do you wish to speak?
Good morning. Linda Ford, Acting DMV Commissioner. As Delegate Rome mentioned, this is an agency bill, and the administration supports this bill. And it will provide additional relief for service members and those that are in service to the United States, as well as hardship cases.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's the direction of the board.
Move to report.
Yep.
Second.
Yep. Motion report Taylor. Delegate Taylor, second. McGuire, please vote on your voter tab. Reports 8-0. Thank you, Delegate Rome.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks to the members of the subcommittee.
Have a good day. Next item on the docket is HB 703, Delegate Keem.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members, and I have House Bill 703, which is kind of ideal because it's not only my zip code, my area code, but it's the area code of the town of Vienna, which is the town that I represent. And this bill is drafted on behalf of the town. As many of you know from working on these issues, we have a variety of specialized license plates throughout the Commonwealth for organizations, affiliations, schools, all kinds of different clubs and such, including localities. Local governments have the option right now in the code to come up with a license plate that's just for their residents and to be able to issue that for those that are interested. And there's obviously a special fee and such. The issue that we had in the town, and I'm sure other localities have as well, is that there's a 350 prepaid threshold, which, you know, a lot of the organizations that have lots of members are able to meet. But for the town of Vienna and others, it was a little bit hard. So they tried it a few different times to see if they can get the prepaid. But what they realized is that with the town being part of the county and trying to advertise this correctly and making sure that we had enough town residents to do that, that it was a little bit of a burden to say, you got to sign up, you got to prepay, et cetera, et cetera. So one idea that we came up with is purely as an option, this is just an option for the DMV and the localities that want to participate, only for local governments, not for nonprofits or any other organizations, to create some kind of a pilot program where the town would be allowed to prepay every dollar that the DMV would require ahead of time, so that the town is paying the money up front. So there's no money that the state or any other agency would be losing, including administrative fees. And then the town would then administer, working with the DMV, administer the issuance of the specialized license plate for those that want that. So the idea is to see if there's a way to front load the process so that those that want the license plate can get it sooner rather than waiting for a long time for them to meet that threshold. So I don't know if this has been tried before, but there are different sections in the code that there have exceptions for less than 350s for some organizations. And so this is, again, just a way to see if we can provide some flexibility for both local governments as well as for the DMV to make this happen. And I do know that, there she is. The mayor of our town of Vienna is online, zooming in if she would like to speak, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for the patron? Anybody wants to speak against this matter?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I have a question of DMV, please. If
Please.
They come to the dais.
Commissioner Ford.
Ms. Ford, is there currently the policy of DMV that localities can have plates of this nature?
Yes, if they have the minimum requirement.
So the only requirement is they have, and the only thing this bill does is allow that minimum to be set aside and the locality pay the fee. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Mayor Colbert? Good morning.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. So yes, we are in favor of House Bill 703. We tried this before years and years ago, I believe over 20 years ago when our town attorney was actually on the town council and he tried to get this passed. But we would, of course, under the current law, we'd have to have 350 prepaid applications. And so we're just asking for that part to be waived. We would pay any setup fees. We have a very spirited town, and I'm sure there's a lot of residents that we would like to offer a special license plate to them so that they can use that. And again, we'll set up license plate fees. There's other organizations I know that don't have to be required to have the 350 prepaid licenses. I know one we looked up was supporters of dogs and cats for to be sterilized, which sounds great, but they don't have to do it. So we were just asking if we could not have to pay that, if we would not have to have the 350 prepaid applicants, but we will pay all setup fees. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. What's the direction of the committee?
Move to report.
Second.
Report in a second. Please vote on your voter tab. Bill reports 7-0 with one abstention. Thank you, Delegate.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. And subcommittee members, thank you very much.
Moving on to HB 852. Delegate Reed, good morning.
Chairman.
Excuse me, real quick.
I would have a motion on 852 to incorporate that into 1050.
We have a motion to incorporate 852 into 1050. All those in favor of incorporating that, say aye. Aye. Those not? Motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
Not to waste your time, Delegate. Thank you very much. Moving on to HB 986. I move that we make that bill push by for the day. All those in favor of making this bill go by for the day, say aye. Aye. Those not? Bill goes by for the day. Moving on to HB 1050. Delegate Leftwich, good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I do have a request for a line amendment.
We haven't.
The clerk has not been given one. This came to my attention at the last minute. But I would ask that the body entertain on line 31, after waived, insert the phrase, the court may, can't read my own handwriting, conduct such ceremony in an alternative manner, and the department shall mail or otherwise deliver that license to the court, or to the driver. I would ask Legislative Services if that makes sense, or you might want to put that somewhere else.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Leftwich, I believe that makes sense, but we can adopt the amendment in concept and get the language.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that the body accept that line amendment.
Clerk, report the amendment as adopted. Have a second. All those in favor of adopting the amendment, say aye. Aye. Those not? Continue to.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. So essentially what this bill does is it allows the Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Court to waive the in-person presentation of a driver's license. Right now, the only thing that allows the court to do that is budget language in the event there's a declared emergency. And so hopefully the Commonwealth will not remain under a declaration of emergency. And this bill will allow the court to waive that in-person hearing because COVID is still an issue. But this line amendment would allow them to do that by Zoom or some other remote process. That's the bill in a nutshell.
Thank you. Do you have anybody else who wants to speak to this, agency-wise? Anybody want to speak against this bill? Any questions for the patron? HB 1050, are we on? No, we did not. Is Ms. Single?
Motion to report.
Second.
Just real quick, guys, let me ask Brandy Singleton on the virtual, if you'd like to speak, you have the floor.
Unless there are questions, the delegate has represented the bill appropriately, and I would just ask the committee to move it forward.
Thank you. We have a motion report. Do I have a second?
As amended.
We have a second with amendments?
As amended.
As amended. Vote on the voter board, please.
Who's a substitute? Okay, no, take care of it.
Reports 8-0 with amendments. Thank you very much,
Thank
Delegate
you, committee.
Leftwich. Have a good day. We have HB 1148. Patrons asked for that to go by for the day. All those in favor of this bill going by for the day, say aye. Aye. Those not? That bill goes by for the day. Is there anything else on the docket today? Any other business to be taken care of today? Thank you guys for dealing with me on my first round. Y'all have a great day. Thank you very much. Good job. Motion is second. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. Thank you, guys.